All right, let's do it live on the First Friday edition of the program, the first Friday to end all First Fridays. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. The sun is out, and away we go, brother.
Away we go. Indeed, yes.
Jameis will be at the podium momentarily, by the way.
Yeah, which will be, I'm sure, a tour de force.
We're a little bit like Frank Ricard when he's at marriage therapy in old school. I don't know how we're going to fit it all in. I don't know if we'll have time.
I don't know if we're going to have time.
You got to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. You got to go to Home Depot. Who knows? I mean, we've got a mailbag.
That's a nice Saturday.
It's a nice Saturday. Nice little Saturday. You got
scores.
I
believe that's at the Kager that he drops that.
Oh, that's right. It is
at
at
therapy. He's wondering about things that he should not be wondering.
Oh,
about.
I think you have that right. It is at the.
Yeah, he was in the trust tree.
I think you have that right. You have that.
And in fact,
yes,
he was not in the trust tree.
Yeah, that's a bad job out of me.
It was not a bad job out of you at all. It's a great.
Yeah,
that's when he's talking to Spanish.
And they're trying to convince him it tastes so good on your lips.
I don't have enough time.
I don't have time. So we've got a mailbag. We've got the scores. We got a Jameis presser. We have Jameis with Siciliano, which is joy.
Yes.
So you'll have that. We've got College Football Nate. Big week for College Football Nate.
A lot of turmoil, a lot of shakeups. A lot of shakeups in the rankings. People plummeting down. Scarlett's got to be excited. Clemson's got a
big Palmetto Bowl for him.
Maybe an outside chance of sneaking in.
He's got to beat South Carolina. Have you seen him yet today,
Scarlett?
Yeah. Is he confident?
He didn't seem. He didn't even bring it up.
I don't know. He's walking around in sweats. I was like, "What are we doing?"
That's his new attitude. That's his new situation.
That's his new mojo.
I didn't like
new mojo. Last night with the children, I made some delicious Chipotle raspberry pork chops in the sous vide.
Baby.
They were delightful. I had my spoon of ice cream. It was great. I got a message from young Gabriel that he bought 3 pints and tore into one last night.
Wait a second. He found it?
He found it.
Oh, you gave him
Bought 3 and tore into it last night and was like, this is the best ice cream I've ever had. Yeah.
Did he eat all of it? One whole half gallon?
He intimated at one point that were he left to truly his own druthers, that some real damage could have been done to those gallons or half gallons or whatever size it is. It's not a pint. What size is that? Is that a half gallon?
Half gallon.
Yeah, the half gallons that he would have really devoured them.
All right. This is my last exchanges with Scarlett. Tuesday, October 1st. Clemson, we're back. From him to me. My response, beat Miami, then we talk. Today, 1 o'clock, will you beat South Carolina? Yes. My response, do you really believe that? Typing.
I don't know if he does.
I don't know if he does either. Seems like there's a long. That's a nice little Tuesday, and now the ultimate First Friday. I will. I'll get you the cocktail. We'll do that at the end.
Of course.
End of the program. I'll set that up for you.
I'm thinking of doing a slight variation this year.
Do what you want, baby.
Do you want to do my slight variation?
No, do it. We'll do it at the end.
Okay.
Or you want to? I mean, we could do it now.
No, we'll do it at the end.
I don't want to be upset because then Jameis is at the podium and we can't.
Wrapped, so the locker room just opened.
I will say last night, so with the kids were, because of the extremely late Thanksgiving, we had to kick off. I'm full into Christmas. Trees up.
Yeah, us too.
Everything, we're full in. So last night we watched The Elf. What
so
a film.
Great!
It's so good. So good. And then a little known fact that perhaps you know it already, but one of the 2 security guards that keeps throwing him out of the Empire State Building is actually his brother, Patrick Farrell.
Really?
Farrell or Patrick Farrell, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, the bigger one. Doesn't really look like him at all. The other one looks like Paul Bearer's child. He's got a darkening around his eyes that is very strange to me. But, yeah, the big one is Will Ferrell's brother. And that James Caan, and I've told this story, I think, on this show before, James Caan hated making that movie. He hated. He thought what Will Ferrell was doing was pure idiocy, that it would never work, that it was the dumbest thing that he'd ever been a part of. He's like ashamed to be a part of it. And then the movie came out, and I think they went to like a test screening.
Yeah.
And people were going nuts for it, as obviously they would. It's an iconic Christmas movie now.
Yeah.
And that he apologized to Will Ferrell and said, "You're actually a genius." He's like, "I thought this was a bomb. I thought this was stupid." And you could tell.
Wow.
If you watch it back, it's kind of like Dreyfus with Bill Murray and What About Bob?
There's a little bit of that.
He's very annoyed with him by times, and I think it is very genuine.
The only other scenario, so I did not know that part of it, that was the case. The only other thing I could think of similarly and that also resulted in a classic was Gene Hackman in Hoosiers. Thought it was stupid. Thought no one would watch it.
Why?
Thought it would suck.
Based
Hated
on
doing
what?
it. No idea. Maybe just a curmudgeon.
Gee.
Those guys from the 70s, though, they did not have a good read on what is classic.
No. Well, and I think, listen, Jimmy Cahn's lived quite a life.
Yeah.
I mean, and to think the fact that the parents who are, I mean, obviously Jimmy Cahn's a huge part of the movie. I would say he's probably number 2 to Farrell, but then Mary Steenburgen's in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's an elite cast. Ed Asner, Bob Newhart.
Is it, so it's Elf, Christmas Vacation.
So my Mount Rushmore, is Elf.
Christmas Story.
Yeah.
What's the third?
The fourth would be.
Or fourth, I mean, the fourth. Because those three are lock stocks.
I think it's The Santa Claus. Tim
The
Allen.
Santa Claus is very solid. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Fred Claus is pretty good.
It's incredible.
I
Now,
don't
if you're
mind a little
getting
Fred
into
Claus.
What's Fred Claus?
With Vaughn.
I don't know if I've ever watched that.
What?
But
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Vaughn's
it's
in it.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's good.
Vince Vaughn living his best life.
Okay, I
Yeah,
like
you
it.
love Vaughn.
I
So
love Vaughn.
Yeah, you got
I'm
to
in.
check
All
out
right,
Fred
so Fred
Claus.
Claus. That's
Get that in
added
there. If
list.
you haven't seen it, add it to the
And then
list.
I love Love Actually.
Yes.
If we're getting into like the little room, I love The Holiday.
Yep. Also good.
4 Christmases, Vaughn.
Forest Christmases.
Little
is very good.
rom-coms.
Those
and
are
then
all
and then we want to talk about some heaters. Office Christmas Party is an incredible film.
Young Beamsy watched the Rock one that's in theaters. Loved it. Watched it last night. Loved it.
I'm glad he did. Apparently, it's a little bit of a bomb. Apparently,
Oh, it's not.
I don't think it's doing so hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Rock. Well, he's going up against what's he got? He got Gladiator and
Moana.
Wicked and Moana. That's a lot going on.
He's going head to head with himself.
As The Rock is the ultimate, but
Yeah.
boy, the movie choice stuff. It's been tough. Been a tough run. Tough run.
Office Christmas Party, The Night Before. Great one. Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
I mean,
I don't think I have.
the Office Christmas Party.
Office Christmas Party is a
Office
great
Christmas
movie.
Party's great. Yeah, it's very
Unbelievable.
good.
You never
Yeah,
seen
that's
The
a good
Night
one.
Before? It's got Seth Rogen. Let me get the whole cast for you.
Maybe.
It's Seth Rogen. I can't think of his name. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Anthony Mackie. Lizzie Kaplan's in it. James Franco's in it. Tracy Morgan's in it. It's really good. Michael Shannon is Mr. Green. Mindy Kaling. It's got a lot of people in. Jillian Bell.
I feel like I have seen that. Then
Miley's in it.
I've seen that.
It's really good. Those are on my kind of fun ones. And then it's weird. I have to be in the exact right mood for it because sometimes I love it, and then sometimes I'm like, this movie is terrible. Bad Santa.
Yeah. Speaking of, remember I told you about that Landman show?
Yeah.
You are familiar with the television show, or the movie rather, Varsity Blues?
Indeed.
You've seen this movie?
Yeah, she's in it.
So there's an iconic scene for young Marcy in Varsity Blues.
Yes, of course.
Let's just say that season 3 of Landman pays off 25 years later.
Season 3?
Episode 3
Okay.
3 of Landman pays off
Yeah.
on that character. It's got to be 2 decades later.
I think I'd appreciate that.
You would.
Like
I think a great many of our
a good
audience would.
Bordeaux.
I think a great
Better
many
with
of
age.
our audience would appreciate
So
that.
is Landman, are you saying I got to do it? It's a must
really,
watch?
It's really cool, like world building, like West Texas oil. Yeah, it's
Okay.
good. And Billy Bob's throwing 110.
All right. So
the
we've
whole
got
time.
Outlander going right now. I don't know if we're going to finish Yellowstone. We might just be completely out.
My guess is you could just watch the last one and go, oh, that's what they did.
Probably true. So I like that. You've got to watch Penguin, though.
I know. I got that.
Bad Monkey, you're having so much fun with. Bad
I
Monkey
watched an
is-
episode last night.
it's
It was
just a
great.
romp.
It's such a fun time.
It's such
a fun time. I watched an episode of
And
it last
his
night. It's really
his
good.
partner's great.
Yeah, all that wins. That's
Yeah.
always.
What's his
very,
partner's name? I can't.
I can picture him, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. No, very good. So all of those things are very good. It is, of course, the first Friday. A couple of business things for us to pass along to you. Miles has won AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Yes.
First one this season for the 3-sack performance in the win against Pittsburgh last Thursday. We are back in the building, turning the page to the Broncos. We will do that coming up in the next segment as we read on Jameis. Miles Harden returned to practice, the corner. And then the big news in the NFL today has been Daniel Jones signs with Minnesota. Pretty smart, both sides, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I really wanted him to sign with Dallas and play tomorrow against the Giants, but
I think it's for them. You remember JJ had that second surgery
Yes.
So what this allows for is if the price for Sam Darnold is
prohibitive,
they're ready to go in-house, and he could be a 1-year bridge or 2-year bridge to McCarthy.
Yeah, it's interesting, and maybe McCarthy will be ready to go. By the way, just real quickly, back to Bad Monkey. Mm-hmm. Have you met the Dragon Queen yet?
Yeah.
There's
a lot of people throwing 117 in that.
She's quite formidable.
No, it's good. That's very fun. That's very fun. So I got
Rosa might be throwing 250.
And as it goes more so, I would say I got to watch Masters of Air. I got to watch Penguin. Outlander's going to have to be that's got to be off season. That's going to have to be.
Have you watched it at all?
No, but you recommend it so highly. I want to start from the beginning, but it's got to be next summer,
dude.
I can't do it now. There's too much going on.
That's a quarter of a year commitment.
Yeah, so that's I'll do that in May.
And let me tell you something.
April.
That show is
amazing,
and it covers some incredible historical periods. And it has some of the most difficult scenes I've ever watched in a television show.
And that's saying a lot.
Period.
More than Thrones-ish level. Don't diminish the Thrones stuff. That was a lot of that was.
What, like Reek?
Yeah,
Reek was tough.
And Ramsey was a bit tough.
Well, yeah, Ramsey, but that was to me. Ramsey and Reek are
but some of the Ramsey stuff with.
Oh, sure.
And then the king, the first king, poor Roz. Come on, that's some bad stuff.
Talk about what Joffrey did.
Yeah,
Joffrey should. At that
despicable.
point, I was a huge Roz fan.
Yeah, that was.
Roz was.
Yeah, I know.
Roz had if Roz had a true character arc that lasted for Roz had a potential to be on my Mount Rushmore.
I think you're right, and it would all went.
Joffrey with a crossbow.
So that just there was a lot there that was tough to swallow.
All those things you're saying. There is one scene that immediately is in my mind that is
worse. Yeesh.
Brutal. God. Brutal, dude. Oh, God. I don't know if I can continue with this program. That's how bad it was.
That's got to be.
I contemplated leaving the show.
Yeah, I got to do that in the summer months then.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
It's a great show, though.
Yeah, that'll be summer.
And every time you watch and you see Jamie, you're going to think a little bit of the Hammer because it kind of looks like the Hammer a little bit. It was great when I got to see the Hammer. That was really fun.
Yeah.
What a fine.
Yeah, it's nice having him around.
Yeah.
It's funny. You and I have been we've been having some. We've talked a little bit about the turkey this week, and this is something that we talk about. And while I am getting a lot of credit for it, you are the one who brought it to my attention. Maybe rethink the whole process of the overrated nature of it. But we've had several people say, "Well, there was a turkey joint in North Canton that slung turkey
year round."
Yep, and it of course went out of business.
I was going to say what I heard was.
That's right.
Yeah,
went out of business, and apparently there's still one in the state of Michigan that still does and is somehow still
okay. So there's one
in the country.
Great,
and of course it's up there.
Yeah, because we don't give a damn for the whole state, so they can have it. They can have their turkey all they want. I love it is Ohio State Michigan week and inundated with that all week in the mornings. I love the back and forth. I got a back and forth with the kid this morning and a back and forth with S. So that checks boxes for me. That I get one from each side.
He's
a very different approach than S.
He's an all class fan. He loves it when they're good, but he's very honest about where they are right now. He's not.
He's also a defending champion.
Yeah. He's Danny Ocean.
Are you kidding me? He's got his golf balls so that if he ever lost any, which at times the kid does, although he's a much improved golfer, kid's playing the best golf of his life.
Yeah.
That say I think it's 3 in a row national champions go blue.
Yeah.
3 in a row over OSU national champions go blue.
Yeah.
On his titleists. Yeah.
It's a crazy week for S. He's got recruiting stuff he's worried about. He's going to the game.
He's got booster meetings, I'm sure.
S is kind of like a part of the machine now.
I think that should terrify people.
It's true.
It is true. He's a part, he can't even possibly be objective anymore.
Well, he never was, but now it's even more so because of what's happened in the sport. And so it's a very, very crazy time in the sport.
He has become to the Buckeyes like that rug was to the dude. It was a valued rug. He is a valued Buckeye now.
Right,
literally.
This from
Did Scarlett ever written you back?
He did, yeah. He really believes that Clemson can win. He asked if I believe, and I said I don't. And he laughed at that.
To say you believe that they can win, that doesn't mean anything.
So then he goes, hot take, would Ohio State rather beat Michigan or win the Natty? Can't have both. So they would rather beat Michigan and win the Big Ten and make a very successful season in a 12-team playoff would be beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, and get to the college football
Final Four,
semifinals, Final Four, and that'd be fine. No, obviously you want to win the Natty. The only way that it's acceptable to lose to Michigan is if you were to win the Natty.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be better?
So that would be if that happened, but the route to that is. So it's not likely. It's much more likely that they beat Michigan, don't win it. He's probably win the national championship because that's the final straw. That's
what it's about.
But I do think that the next month would be brutal to get to that end. Be tough.
If they lose to Michigan, though, they could and then lose to Oregon.
They won't play Oregon if they lose to Michigan.
If they lose Michigan, then they don't play again.
Well, they'll play in the playoff. They would still make it. They'd be like probably the 8 or 9.
Who would win?
Indiana. Indiana would play Oregon in the Big Ten championship game
because they would have lost
only to Ohio State. They play Purdue. Buckeyes have lost at Oregon, at and then if Michigan were to beat them, that'd be 2 Big Ten losses.
Got it.
Indiana's only got 1, and they play Purdue.
So do they? So it's one conference, the top 2 at the end. Got it.
Yeah, no more East-West. It's just split the way that it is. Those are your hot topics today. Hot topics today presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll take Jameis Winston when he gets to the podium. We'll meet the Broncos, and a loaded program for you here on the first Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, check out Vivid Seats' official fan experience packages to this season's home games. When you purchase seats in Vivid Seats' Terrace Experience, you can also score pregame field passes, all-inclusive food and beverage, and more. Visit vividseats.com today to learn more. Time to meet the Denver Broncos. Honestly, one of the surprise teams of the year. 7-5 on the season, third in the AFC West. Sean Payton, 167 up, 103 down, 17th year as a head coach, second with Denver. He is a Super Bowl champion, called one of the most gutsy calls that we've seen in a Super Bowl ever. Denver leads the all-time series against us 25-7. Last time out, they won last year in Denver 29-12. They are coming off of a 10-point win over Vegas last time out. For more perspective on Denver and to meet the Broncos, Dr. Z.
As you said, good team.
Yep.
Surprising team. Started the season 0-2. People weren't really thinking much about the Denver Broncos, and then they've ripped off 7 of their last 10. Now, you would say that they've lost to the quality teams they've played. They have 2 what I would consider quality-ish wins. That would be over Tampa Bay 26-7 in week 3, and that was a shocker. Remember that? Well, we'll get back to this because here's Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston at the podium.
So I'm thankful for every day.
You're done.
But I know just for y'all, I'm thankful for y'all, right, for always challenging us, holding us up to a standard that you want to see your team, too. So I'm very thankful for that. And I hope you all can find something singular that you're thankful for as well.
You talked about Sean, a couple weeks ago, obviously. What was him specifically, the impact he had on you? Can you measure where he made the biggest impact on you?
I would just say, his aura, right? His essence, him being authentically himself. And I think that won me over so much because from a head coach perspective, I haven't really seen that much personality in my head coach. Bruce Arians was a great example. He did have personality, but that was my first year with him. So it was kind of like a fill-out process. I've known him since I grew up, but what Sean possessed was a leadership quality that was so important to our team at the New Orleans Saints because, I've always put Drew on this pedestal, and I knew it was Drew's team, but in a sense, Sean was one of our biggest leaders, our hardest workers, and definitely he was a leader among men, and that's how I put it. He was one of the best leaders I've been around.
Setting aside your personal feelings and respect and all that type of thing, what would it mean to go to Denver and beat him?
Well, we would be beating the Denver Broncos, right? And I think that is the main focus. But getting a win in this league is important, regardless of who the opponent is. And I know this is a great defense. I know that it's a young kid from Alabama that's playing some great football right now. So I think that would be an important win for the Cleveland Browns to go and scratch away a win in Denver.
How nice is it, though, for you to you always talk about that year that you had with Sean and Drew together and all the things that you learned. How nice is it for you to go sort of put that on display and show Sean that, you really took all of that stuff to heart and put it out on the grass? Yeah,
like Sean don't want me to prove nothing to him. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking it one play, one day at a time, and that's how my focus is. My focus is taking it one play at a time and executing that one play to the best of my abilities. So that's the most important thing in my mind right now.
Jameis, Jerry Jeudy has talked about the need to be patient as a receiver. The ball's not always going to come his way, even though everyone wants it. Why has he gotten more targets with you at quarterback?
Well, the simple thing, he's been open, and I think we've schemed up some great things to get him open, and he's just a great receiver. And when you doing what you're doing, like this is how I look at Cedric Tillman is our muscle receiver, and he gets in there, he blocks, he makes tough catches, makes run after the catch. But when you see your wide receiver one and Jerry Jeudy block, make effort plays for Nick Chubb, make effort plays for the offensive line, you know that he is embracing the entire part of being a football player. And I think Jerry Jeudy is one of the best football players I've played with. And when you encompass everything that it means to be a football player, the blocking on defense, the tackling, the details, things typically go your way. So he's been doing a great job of doing all phases, and I think that's why things are going his way.
Jameis, I hear you one play at one time, but would you like to be back here next year?
Man, of course, in terms of my family, right? When I think about my family, I think about moving my kids, my wife having to find new friends. I think anytime where you're able to solidify a role in a place and play good at that place, you like to be home. But however, that's out of my control. Again, my focus is on one play at a time, Jeff, and just stacking it up day after day after day.
But so have you found a home here? Are you comfortable in the Cleveland area? I've never been up north before.
Well, Jeff, I'm comfortable everywhere I go. Every room I step in, I'm comfortable. But no, I've truly embraced this city. I love the hard nose. I love the beautiful trees. And 3 months out the year. It's truly everywhere I go. I always talk about when I have my introductory. I talk about I'm grateful, and it's as simple as that, man. I'm grateful for the fans challenging me. I'm grateful for the fans lifting me up. I'm grateful for you all challenging me and lifting me up, man. It's a process that I really take to heart, man, because I feel like all of us are in this together, and that's just how I approach it.
We see all the different modalities you use every single week and how much work you put in that regard, just with the altitude. Like, do you do anything differently to prepare for that, and getting the extra day out there, how important is that?
Yeah, I think it's important when you're going out there. You want to get a feel and see how you react when you're out there, because nothing can really simulate it. But what the Cleveland Browns have done for us, man, we have an altitude room in-house. Right, so I'm going to be encouraging all my teammates to use that altitude room. I know I got my work in yesterday, right, and I'm probably going to get some more in throughout the week. So just taking all the resources that this organization allows us to have and making the most of it.
Do you do cardiovascular in that room? Is that what it's for?
Yes, sir. So we got treadmills, we got some assault bikes, we got some skiing. No pun intended, we can't ski, but the little ski thing.
So what, it simulates the high altitude?
Yeah, you should take a look at it, man. It's the first door to your right, and it's like it goes up to I don't know how long it goes up to, but you close. Anyways, but you close it up, and it basically simulates the altitude.
Jameis had something of an NFL homecoming a couple weeks ago. We're not going to talk to Jerry until Friday. What do you think it's going to mean for him to go back to where his pro career began?
I think it's going to mean a lot, man, because, again, Jerry's an elite football player, and he loves this game. So I know he's going to be very grateful to go back into that building, and he's going to be hoping and desiring success. And it's my desire to give him the most success that's required for him to have on that day. So I'm going to be with him. I got his back.
Hey, Jameis, with the backdrop of taking everything one play at a time, do you get more comfortable when you are able to string starts together, right? You've made 4 starts already. I think it's the first time you started 4 games since, 2021.
Yeah.
So do you feel more comfortable out there playing play out?
Yeah, well, I think the key thing is you feel the offense, right? How is the offense working? You get a chance to watch, like, what are we good at? You know what I'm saying? What am I good at, right? And how can I say this all the time, how can I build on the positives and eliminate the negatives? So I think when you have more of a database to pick from to study, really self-study is so important at the quarterback position, whether it's footwork, whether it's coverages, how defenses are playing you. You get just a bigger platform to study.
Jameis, along the lines of they're taking everything at a time, we heard some of the stories just about, you have the 2 turnovers in that game on Thursday, but you just kind of you very positive on the sidelines, talking to your teammates, picking them up, saying you're going to be okay. Has that always been the way you kind of handled those situations, or did you have to kind of learn that as your career went on?
Yeah, again, that 2019 to 2020 year with Byron and Clyde as my quarterback coach, I got so we're not focusing on the outcomes, right? We're focusing on decisions and how we're executing. And I think that takes away so much weight from a quarterback's shoulder of like, oh man, this happened, oh that happened, because it's literally what I'm about to say. It's one play at a time, like, and it's as simple as that. And, you know, you look at some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, man. If they have a tough game, you know, it's about what they do in that crunch time to lift their team up. It's about the complementary of their teammates, defense going out there getting a three play stop, getting us the ball back. It's Joe Patonio said, "Hey man, run behind me." You know, it's all of that put together to end up with a win. And anytime you end up with a win, everything is a little bit better.
James, since the last time we saw you, you have become quite the internet sensation with mic'd up and, you know, diving into the snow and making snow angels and all that kind of stuff. What kind of feedback have you gotten? Have you heard from some people? How fun was that to bring that kind of energy and put that out there like that?
Man, like, that's just who I am, you know, and they just happen to get it on camera, you know, so if whoever watched it, I hope you enjoyed it, right? But, you know, I think it's just good for people to see people being who they truly are, right? So that encourages everyone to be who you are. John Batiste has a song that I sang with my boys. You can only be who you are, and that is so important, not worrying about other people, being grateful for other people, but not worrying about what other people got going on, but focusing on how can you be the best version of yourself every day.
James, you sort of said after the game, you joked, are you a Cleveland Brown now? In the almost week since, do you feel like you're officially a Cleveland Brown now?
I do. I really do. I'm so grateful that we were able to get last week's victory, man. But, man, we have to see that team again. You know, and I think that's the beautiful thing about this division. That's the beautiful thing about football is when you see a great battle and you have historic nights. And that was a historic night to me. Probably not NFL history, but that was a historic night. There's definitely going to be some snow globes coming out soon. But after that, it's recuperate, focus on the main thing. What's the main thing? Going out there and playing the best football we could play against the Denver Broncos, who has a great defense, who has a great young quarterback that's from Alabama, that's doing some great things and has a great leader in Sean Payton that's leading.
You mentioned Bo there. Just how does Sean and what Sean's system is, how does that benefit a young kid? Well, he's not really young, but a rookie quarterback like him. How do you feel like it? I feel like Sean loves challenges, and I think that he had an eye for Bo probably 2 years ago. If you ask Sean, like, when did you think Bo Nix was going to be your quarterback? Sean can go to the date and the time. It's like, I knew at this time Bo Nix was going to be my quarterback. I think he just does a good job of playing to what his players' strength, coaching to what his players' strengths are, and we see that with Bo getting better and better every single week.
Jameis,
whether it's you coming in, you know, it's 6 a.m.
Can you please repeat that? Because
whether it's you coming in like at 6 a.m. and you're reciting the play calls or getting in cardio or lifting or, you know, out on the field trying to run through stuff or taking a nap, like, do you have a set schedule every week of like the stuff you do, or is it just come naturally to you just doing any of those things when it hits you, hey, I need to brush up on this?
Yes, I have a plan. I'm a firm believer that you can either live by design or by default. I choose to live by design.
Monday night is the My Cause, My Cleats game. I know you'll be representing your foundation. Can you just talk a little bit about what that is and why that's something that's near and dear to your heart?
Yes, the Jameis Winston Dream Forever Foundation provides resources and opportunities for the disadvantaged youth by including technology, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math into these dream rooms that we build that provide students with 25 iPads, robotics, Legos. One of my most favorite things is about the creative part of the true Dream Forever. We all have a dream, but sometimes through growing up, our dreams can be capped by what we experience. So encouraging the kids by giving them smart boards on there that they sit down in, like it's whiteboards, being creative. Never stop dreaming, never stop believing, and knowing that with God, undeniable faith, school, continuous learning and education, and 3, I can do anything I put my mind to. That's the Dream Forever prospect perspective that these kids will succeed no matter if they are a truck driver or NFL player.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, there you are, Jameis Winston at the podium. We were meeting the Broncos, and we were talking to Dr. Z, and we will pick that up right now. The opponent is Denver, 7-5 on the year, and one of the most improved and impressive teams in the league this year.
Yeah, 7-5 after an 0-2 start. They are led by Sean Payton. We don't need to go over the series history here, but it has not been kind to the Cleveland Browns, and in fact, it still haunts Gibbe to this day. Isn't that right? Gibbe.
He does.
Stupid horse face.
It is.
Well,
the one time in my career
they go high,
that I
go
debated
low,
throwing it all away just to take a shot at him in the hallway as I was walking down the hallway.
That would have
And
been
it was just
such
him
an
and I.
unbelievable scenario.
It was just him and I.
Like I can see the headline in the Denver Post.
And I'm like,
Browns employee.
you're only going to get one. You better make it good.
Be in jail.
But you will never pay for another meal ever again in this town.
Well,
if you ever got out of Denver, you may have been in jail for a little while.
That would have been a much more satisfying end to your career than what almost happened yesterday.
I don't know that story.
Z overblows everything.
I want to hear. I want to hear it in the break.
Well, in the break, we'll let Judge Bo Bishop
will be the judge.
weigh in on
I
that.
like the idea of this. I look forward to this very much.
Sorry, little hiccup there. Here we go. Broncos, as I said, started 0-2, but they've been on fire of late. Their defense is incredible. Number 1 in sacks. They have 44 sacks already. They are number 3 scoring defense, number 3 total defense. They are the number 1 red zone defense. They're the number 1 goal-to-go defense in the league. They have allowed, think about this, teams at first and goal have scored touchdowns on fewer than 50% of their possessions. They've got players who get to the quarterback all over the field. Nick Benito, he's got 10 sacks already. He's playing very well, the second rounder back in 2022. They've got Pat Surtain, the second, their great cornerback. They've got a lot of talented players on this football team, and this defense has been very good. And then offensively, Bo Nix is playing great football, and then they've got just a bunch of big receivers. And the biggest, Cortland Sutton, 6'4", 216. They've got Devon Vele. He's 6'5", 210, the rookie out of Utah, who's a 7th-round pick who's played very well for them. They got little Jordan Humphrey, who's 6'4", and then they've got speed. Troy Franklin can run out of Oregon, and Marvin Mims can run out of Oklahoma. They've got a 3-headed monster at running back, Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Audric Estime. His name is very interesting when you look at Audric Estime.
Yeah,
from Notre Dame, who's kind of the big bruiser. McLaughlin is the smaller back who can really run. They've got some talent there, and Bo Nix has played very, very well for them. On the season, 65% completions, 2,548 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 picks. They're good. They're good. They've got a ton of people with sacks. They have more players with at least a half a sack on their team than any other team in the league. And as I said, Sutton's been excellent. 57 catches, 744 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Nix has been wild. I don't think, especially the last month and a half or so, like he's taken off. He played a ton of college football, played 3 years at Auburn and then 2 years at Oregon, and is one of those guys who just played a ton of ball and has been great for them. And they were committed him right away.
Oh, no. Jimmy Bang Bang had it. They wanted him months before the draft. We knew it. Bo Nix, and you talked about kind of the last 5 games. Is this good? 70% completions, 1,302 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a rating of 109. Yes, I would say that is good.
That is very good. All right, there you go. Those are your Denver Broncos. That game will be on Monday Night Football. A little college football Nate coming your way on Rivalry Weekend. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner. Your Cleveland Browns now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more, and you'll get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet is official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is a segment that is sweeping the nation. Nate Feinbaum is here. Time for college football with Uncle Bo and College Football Nate. Hello, Gibbe.
Gentlemen, hello.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the first Friday.
Yep, this is it. This is
I
the one.
will be acting accordingly later on this evening.
This is awesome. Such a fun one.
Just Uber. That's
fun.
the only thing I would
yeah,
ask.
yeah.
Like, be smart, kids.
Ubered up, kids.
You need to make it to Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's be smart.
There's a lot of options. Never been easier. It's never been easier to not drink and
There's
drive.
really no excuse.
Yep.
Let's kick things off. Kevin?
First down.
Who is the X factor on offense and defense for Ohio State against that team up north this Saturday at noon?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Jameis Smith is always the X factor. He might be my favorite player in college football. I hope someday he's a Cleveland Brown. I love him. I'm all in. So he's my X factor on offense. On defense, I don't want to single anybody out. Takes all 11.
All 11.
Takes all 11 on
I like how you
defense
did that.
because you're going to be playing a team that is not going to throw the forward pass. So it really is about run defense, and run defense takes everybody being in their gap, tackling, rallying to the football. It takes them all. So Jameis Smith, X factor on offense. Entire defense needs to step up because that's where, when things get a little squirrely with the Buckeyes, it's because, in my opinion anyway, Nate Feinbaum's, the defense has not been dominant to the level I would like. That's why Nebraska has the ball in the fourth quarter with a chance. I don't get it.
Bo, you care to add?
So you went X factor, so I'll go XE factor. I'll go X as can be, and that's Carson Hinsman. He's the center. So he was the left guard. They lose McLaughlin, the center, last week. He was really good last week, starting center last week.
Yep.
The one thing that Michigan's defense has, and they have a true advantage, is in the middle of their defensive line. They have 2 first-round picks in the middle of their defensive line. Ohio State has Hinsman, who's back at center, and so that interior of the Buckeye offensive front is going to have to be stiff. The perimeter guys, there's probably no Will Johnson, first-round pick, Michigan at corner. He's probably going to miss this game. So I would think Ibuka, Jameis Smith, Carnell Tate are all going to eat a lot. I think the 2 backs are going to eat a lot. I think Will Howard will play really well. But it's just that interior of the Michigan defensive line, and so Hinsman will have a big target on him. Defensively, Ohio State's really only flaw last week going into the fourth quarter against Indiana, they only had 90 yards of total offense going into the fourth, and most of that came on the very first drive. Ohio State's one struggle is getting off the field on third down. 2 weeks ago against Northwestern, they gave up a 3rd and 13 in the first series. Last week against Indiana, they gave up a 3rd and 9.
You were not pleased.
Not pleased about
the 3
that.
downs.
I don't like the 3 down stuff. I think it's Cody Simon. He is a senior linebacker. He's been number 30 his whole career. This year he wears the Blocko 0, and he has been an absolute stud the last month. It'll be him tackling those 2 Michigan backs and getting them down so that drives do not get elongated. I think a lot of eyes on him. Because you're right, Michigan cannot throw the ball down the field. They cannot.
I was kind of being tongue-in-cheek earlier. If you want me to give one X factor, I'm going to say Ty Hamilton or Tyleek Williams in the middle of that defensive line. You got to be formidable at the point of attack.
I like it.
There you go. Also, could use. if special teams. I think. Did I recall?
I think Williams,
did they struggle last year against the team up north?
What's that?
Did Ohio State struggle? Did they give up a punt return last year, or was it all big plays by the defense given up?
It was 2 years ago where they got gashed in Columbus with the big plays.
But special teams have played well the last couple of weeks.
No, I think and their defense. It's just that's kind of their only hitch is they just they haven't got off the field on third down, but they're top 5 defense in the country. It's the third down stuff that's frustrating.
Next.
Second down.
It is rivalry week all around college football. Give me your favorite A, rivalry game name, and B, rivalry trophy.
Well,
could be a tough one for Nate Feinbaum. He's juggling a lot of things.
There's a lot going on here. There's several that are the game. So around here, ours is the game, but also Harvard-Yale is the game, and I think Cal-Stanford is the game.
I think it's the big game.
The big game is Cal-Stanford is the big game.
Yeah.
You have your Iron Bowl.
Iron Bowl is a great name.
Egg Bowl?
Egg Bowl is a great name.
By the way, Egg is formidable in Bad Monkey. I don't know if you've run into Egg yet.
No, I've not.
You do not want to be on
don't
the wrong side
Don't want
of
to be
Egg.
that. I like Egg. I like the Egg Bowl a lot. I like the Iron Bowl a lot. I
like Farmageddon. I'm like, what is Farmageddon?
K-State and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big game.
We just
Cal
played
Stanford, that's what I wrote down.
Montana State, which is the Brawl of the Wild. That's a very cool
won?
one. The Fighting Bobcats. So good job out of them as they remain perfect. All of those are very cool. There's a lot of cool names out there. The best trophy is the Axe. The Axe is unbelievable. And it's all those like Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. Those three all have crazy, like Florida Rosedale. That's not this week. That's Iowa, Minnesota. That thing's unbelievable. That bronze pig. But the Axe, like the winner of the Wisconsin Minnesota game, you get an axe, a giant axe. That's awesome.
Didn't Joe say he got to?
Yeah, there's a
carry the
picture of him
axe?
like hoisting it. No, that's awesome. A lot of them don't have. A lot of the best ones don't. Like Ohio State, Michigan doesn't have anything like that. Iron Bowl doesn't have anything. They're not trophy games, but that one does, and that's great. The Brawl of the Wild trophy is a mountain, and the thing's 300 pounds. It's 300 pounds. It takes like 6 linemen.
So you said an axe. There's another axe, and I'll go back to this is the one that I knew as a kid growing up was the big game, and it's the Stanford axe, which is on the trophy that the winning team gets. And now, do you know the lore of this?
Mm-mm.
The axe reportedly made its first appearance in April of 1899 during a rally at Stanford when it was used to decapitate a straw figure wearing a Cal uniform.
Jeez.
The trophy has gone to the winner since 1933 and actually is an axe head mounted on a plate, which has the series scores on it. So that's a good one. The golden egg is great.
Yeah.
What else is the one?
I don't know what Florida takes from Florida State, but when Florida State beats Florida, they take a gator head and they walk it around the field with an actual gator head. Yeah.
There's
when
maybe the
you
least
see that,
surprising thing
when
ever.
you yank a gator head out of a sack and you start walking around with it and you're on the sideline the first time, that's an attention getter.
I don't know how you have to be deep into college football like Nate Feinbaum to know about this, and I don't know if you do, but the Troll might be the best trophy of all. It's when Concordia Moorhead in Minnesota and St. Olaf do battle.
You can say I've not
in Division
covered that
3, and they have a trophy that is a troll mounted on a
deep
piece
down
of
that
wood,
hole.
and it is spectacular.
That thing is pretty good.
That's a pretty good one. Arizona State, they play for the Territorial Cup. It was first awarded in 1899, making it the oldest rivalry trophy in college sports.
How about that?
Bear down.
Next.
Third down.
If you were a voter, a committee member, are you rewarding teams based on strength of schedule or record?
You know,
both.
Here's the thing. I'm comprehensive, and so you need to factor in everything. Is 8-1, or is, let's call it a 10-1 in some Jabron conference as good as going 8-3 in the SEC when you're playing Alabama and Georgia and Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, all of it? No, the answer is it is not. So you have to factor in everything. That's why when people sometimes get mad, they're like, oh, traditional scouting, no numbers. Oh, analytics, no scouting. No, you need to bring in all of your information. You need to pull from all of your available resources to try to give yourself the most apples-to-apples comparison possible. And so you have to factor in the strength of schedule and the quality of opponent that is played, and you can't just go strictly on record. That would be like assessing a football game by just reading the box score. If you do that, you're an ignoramus.
Well said, College Football Nate. The job here, they actually have a job, the College Football Playoff Committee. This is their job. Their job is to come up with the 7 best at-large teams in the country because for reasons beyond anything I can understand, they decided to give 4 automatic bids to conference champions, which is stupid. Okay? So all of a sudden,
conversation earlier.
We've got buys for teams who have played nobody. I mean, the idea of Boise State's getting a bye. If Boise State is matched up with Ohio State in the semifinal and Ohio State's the 5, Buckeyes will be 24.5-point favorites.
Beating.
And you get a bye. Like, it's just nonsense. So they really screwed that thing up. I do not understand their rankings at all. What exactly has Miami done to deserve to be ranked 6th in the country? I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't know. I don't know what they've done to be 6th in the country. If I'd like to go to the committee and say, all right, you guys like Miami? You like them better than Georgia? Would you put your Marriott points on that?
No, I would not.
You would not. By the way, why do you like Penn State more than Notre Dame?
Well, I'll get to.
I don't know how you do.
Irish next.
I don't know
how do you like.
By the way, can I just say something?
What Miami's the one I cannot understand for the life of me is the Miami one. This strength of schedule or record, and this is all that anybody's talking about. If you cannot acknowledge that all leagues are not created equal, then I can't help you.
Well,
I
first
can't
of all,
help you.
there are 2 super leagues, and then there's everybody else.
That's correct. Yeah.
Can I say real quick, going back to the rivalry weekend and all the names and the trophies and all that, it is a darn shame to me. And remember, I clearly have a Pac-12 bias growing up, or Pac-10 as a kid. You had the big game, Oregon State,
Civil War.
Why? And it can't be called that anymore?
No, I think it still is.
I don't know.
They just don't play it this week.
That's not what my
they
sources are
well,
saying.
then that's 3 of them that they've been stupid about. So if they got rid of Civil War, that's absurd. They had to change it from Red River Shootout to Red River Rivalry.
Yeah,
which
why?
Is stupid.
Why?
They tried to get rid of the cocktail party.
Yeah,
the cocktail. We can't call it a cocktail party.
Why not?
Who knows? Idiocy. Apple Cup also very cool. Washington State Apple Cup.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, I keep thinking when we put that question together, I thought about the way, Bo, that you talk about how when you go to vote for a Heisman, you take the 5 best games.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe if I was a committee member, maybe that's what I need to do. What are the 5 best games, win or lose? For these teams?
What would Miami's record be if they played Georgia's schedule?
I'll tell you.
8-4? 7-5?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
At best. And Cam Ward would not be a Heisman finalist.
No, he would not be. No.
Next.
4th down.
Final one. Who has the more impressive resume?
This isn't close, actually.
Okay. Notre Dame or Texas? Notre Dame has wins at Texas A&M over Louisville, Navy, Army. That awful loss against Northern Illinois.
Is this a real
Action,
question?
baby. Love it. Texas has beaten Michigan. They've beaten Oklahoma. They have beaten Vanderbilt. Their real big game was Georgia, which they lost.
I'll give them a lot of credit for coming back in the Georgia game. Texas did. And Texas is one of the teams that can win a national title. Cool thing about this question is you're going to get a direct answer to this because you're going to have a like comparison this week. Texas plays at Texas A&M this week. So Notre Dame's best win at A&M is better than anything Texas has done on the schedule. But Notre Dame's loss
to Northern Illinois,
it's honestly one of the most. It's the stupefying loss of the year.
Yeah,
because Northern Illinois wasn't even a MAC team. They weren't even.
When you have that loss on your resume, it's one of those things that's like you can't overlook it.
Texas has the chance to lock up the 2 seed overall. They get A&M and A&M this weekend, and then they'll get Georgia in the SEC title game. So that one's going to sort itself out. I think Notre Dame's in even if they get shocked by SC this weekend. I think they're in no matter what.
To me, the Northern Illinois loss in this head-to-head battle is the fatal flaw.
It's a brutal one. It really is. All right, there you go. Nate Feinbaum, College Football Nate. Hey, Browns fans, this month's winner of Local Business Platform presented by Minuteman is Stakes Manufacturing. Stakes Manufacturing is a full-service print-on-demand company located right in Eastlake. To learn more, visit clevelandbrowns.com/local business platform. Second hour of the program, including the scores and a mailbag coming your way next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Are you ready to give your home the facelift it deserves at Renew Home Exteriors? They've got the deal you've been waiting for. Act now. No money down, 0 interest, 5 years, all roofing and siding jobs. Now, here's the deal. You combine that roofing and siding project, and Renew's going to take an additional 5% off. That's right. No money down, 0% interest for 5 years, and 5% off when you knock off both jobs at once. So don't wait. Upgrade your home and say big with Renew Home Exteriors. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book today. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products, and superior service. Time for Andrew Siciliano, Jameis Winston, top 5 Thanksgiving foods. Let's have a listen.
First up, mashed potatoes.
Okay, mashed potatoes. I'm just gonna say 5. Like, if I could rank it,
you're down.
And I would say lower than that, but I'm just gonna say 5. Like, mashed potatoes is not really a big Thanksgiving meal in my house.
Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them any. Now, if I change that to, like, sweet potatoes?
I would say candy yams. If you say candy yams, that would be a little different. Like, a lot of people do, like, the sweet potato casserole, but, like, candy yams would be probably 2, right? And a yam is essentially a sweet potato. But I'm not just going to bake sweet potatoes. I'm going to have a sweet potato casserole. I'm going to have some candy yams. Either or.
Okay. Next up, stuffing.
What is stuffing? What is stuffing? Like, I'm a dressing guy. I'm from the South. Okay? Stuffing, this is how I believe. Stuffing is stuffing a turkey with a cornbread-based thing. Like, and you eat it after you eat the turkey. Like, me and Joel Bettino had a whole story about this stuffing dressing. But dressing would be probably 3 for me.
Where's turkey?
Turkey would be, okay, listen, I'm just going to say turkey is going to be, it's a 4. And I'm going to say this. My whole life growing up, I was a ham guy. But then when I was introduced to a fried turkey, first, when someone said fried turkey, I'm like, okay, how are you going to fry a turkey? You know what I'm saying? How can you deep fry a turkey? Like, and I'm thinking like breaded fried turkey. Like, I'm just like, no way, I would not like this. But when I saw that a fried turkey still looked like the regular turkey, I was like, okay, this is good. And the juiciness is succulent. My mouth watering right now. So I would say 4.
Right. What if you put them together? Because my sister-in-law, Jameis, check this out. She does the turkey in the oven, but she wraps it in bacon. So you got the ham and the turkey.
Oh my goodness. Like, that would be unbelievable. But I went, like, the bacon wrap, you know, I'm more of a ham. I mean, I guess I'm more of ham than bacon.
All right. Well, maybe you got to come to the Siciliano house.
Okay.
And we'll get you the bacon wrap turkey.
All right.
Collard greens.
Collard greens is definitely going to be a number 1 for me. I'm going to need me some collard greens. My wife know that we don't play that. We're going to cook us some good collard greens. It is required to have a good batch of collard greens with some smoked turkey necks inside of that batch, or some ham hocks, some neck bones. You got to have some inside of it. Do not cook me no collard greens with nothing inside of it. If you just
wait, that's number 1.
It's number 1 for me, yes.
Okay. Well, then where's mac and cheese?
Okay. Did I do a number 2 yet?
You can make it number 2.
Okay. I'm going to make mac and cheese number 2. And this is why I'm going to make it number 2. There's some different types of mac and cheeses out there. You know, you got the cheesiness. You know what I'm saying? Some people bake their mac and cheese. You know, I prefer the baked mac and cheese personally. And then you got the people that just make mac and cheese like some spaghetti, and they just make a cheese sauce. Like, that's personally not my favorite mac and cheese. Now, I'm going to say 2 because I'm thinking about the mac and cheese that I like.
Which was
the baked mac and cheese. The baked mac and cheese, you put it in the oven and come out cheesy. You know what I'm saying? Got a little crunch to it.
So we got number 1, greens. Number 2, mac and cheese. We're going to go dressing 3.
Dressing to be 3.
Okay. Turkey's 4.
Turkey going to be 4.
Was that 5?
Yeah, turkey going to be 4. And 5 is going to be mashed potatoes. Like, mashed potatoes, we ain't going to do no mashed potatoes.
I said it last week, said it the week before. Perfect quarterback, perfect time.
He's a treasure.
He really is. All right, time for a First Friday edition of the Fantasy Advice presented by ScaleCo Capital, proud capital investment partner of your Cleveland Browns. And for that, we turn to Dr. Z.
Well, we got 4 games by the end of Friday, so this is a big week. 2 weeks out, a lot of people getting excited. You're trying to get into the fantasy playoffs. This week you've got everybody out there, but you got to plan ahead. If you think you're going to make the playoffs and you've got guys on your bench that you've gotten through the bye weeks with but you don't need anymore, you need to be looking at defenses for weeks 15, 16, 17. Quarterbacks for week 14 if you've got a Lamar Jackson or a Jaden Daniels. So this is the time to kind of prepare yourself not only for this week, but for the week that comes ahead, because it's about, hoisting that trophy and getting those bragging rights. Quarterbacks this week, you have everybody. You're starting all the stars. Baker against Carolina for sure. Jaden Daniels against Tennessee. I kind of think, is like a deep cut. Will Levis against Washington. He's been playing quite well of late. Anthony Richardson, because of what he does with his legs in that game against New England. Sam Darnold's still rolling. Stafford's rolling. So you've got plenty of options there. Running back, same thing. You've got the full complement of people. You're ready to roll. You know who you're starting. Again, Bucky Irving playing very, very well. Yes, you still start Christian McCaffrey. I think Nick Chubb, you can get him into your lineups this week. Tough matchup with Denver, but I do like, that if he gets near the goal line, he's getting the ball and he's going to score. And then Gus Edwards, I think, has the chance to be a factor this week now that you are without J.K. Dobbins down there for the L.A. Chargers. And then in Washington, Austin Eckler took a brutal hit. Jerry McNichols will take that role. He's somebody, I think, in a PPR league you could look at as a flex option if you had to pick somebody up. Wide receivers, it's your stars. Bottom line, you know who the stars are at this point in the season. Obviously, Cortland Sutton, tough matchup against us. He's been good. I'd love it if we could shut him down. But, Darnell Mooney is back off of the bye week. Shakir in Buffalo's playing well. Ladd McConkey's become the go-to guy. Jerry Jeudy has been very good. But you wonder how much he's going to draw of Pat Surtain, which would make that a very, very difficult matchup for him. Keenan Allen showing some signs of life in what should be a high-scoring game in Detroit. DJ Moore, it's just so I don't know what to make of him. And then I'm hoping Jalen Waddle's back. Jalen Waddle has finally had a big game last week. You hope he's back. He's been so solid. Tight ends, Taysom Hill, I think at this point, based on what he did against us, you got to play him and hope they get him the football on the ground. Will Dissly starting to play a bigger role for the Chargers as well as somebody I'd keep an eye on. And then from a defensive standpoint, because this is the stuff that matters. Cowboys against the Giants tomorrow is a great defensive start. The Bills against the Niners, if Brock Purdy is out, obviously they would be a very good start in this one. And then the Bucs against Carolina. Those would be the defenses I'd be looking at this week.
All right, there you go. That is your fantasy advice. It's presented by Scaleco Capital, proud capital investment partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for a little mailbag presented by the Cross Country Mortgage Company, the official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, they're always going to get you home. Visit ccm.com today. Equal housing opportunity, NMLS 3029. Hello, Gibby.
Gentlemen, a couple quick ones here. Jerry Barnett. Stuffing outside the bird with no giblets is epic. But if you want to research afterwards, after the show, get some Italian sofrite.
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Not sure. But something, I have the sofritas at Chipotle. It's my favorite thing to put on a burrito or a burrito bowl.
All right.
From Bobby, there was a place in North Canton called TGD, I believe.
There was.
Exclusively sold Thanksgiving-style food. Ate there 0 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think it's in business. It's done.
Yeah. Let's see. This is enough from the clown. He's got a couple questions.
Okay.
Your family's best Thanksgiving tradition. I don't know if I have one. My mom and dad love the parade. Like the Macy's parade.
Yeah, my wife likes the boys.
Parade. Oh, yeah.
Big parade. I think I said this earlier in the week, and I didn't maybe appreciate it at the time, but Thanksgiving was really one of those, especially when on the Bishop side, when we would go back to the Ponderosa, when my grandma and grandfather still were out there. That was like the one day on the calendar where everybody would come. And so it really was an all-day thing. As a kid, I loved it. Like, I saw cousins I never saw, and it was – you'd get there 11 and around noon, and then you'd do dinner at 1, and then you would – like, a lot of times we'd go hunting, get in pickup trucks and go hunting. You'd horseback, all that type of stuff, and then you'd have the dinner at night Not really a formal dinner, but just kind of like a leftover, put it together dinner at night. It's kind of what you do. Everyone would leave like 9 o'clock, but that was a very fun.
It was a day.
That was a full day. That was fun. It was fun. But you also were. You got to remember, like, you're not confined. We were all in a house. You had open spaces.
Great expanse.
Yeah, go wherever you want. And it was fun to see, like, like my Uncle Tom, for example, would always like go on a big hike, and we have at the homestead we have all sorts of Indian rings from teepees that are all over, and he would always go and find those as he found them as a kid. So there was all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, we used to find all sorts of Native American artifacts as kids.
I love that.
Arrowheads and spearheads and stuff all over the pastures.
That's cool.
So I guess that
sounds fun. Thanksgiving to me has always been like,
yeah. I love a turkey bowl, but I mean, I did those. I actually did those in college, and I did them when I was in Florida.
The best part. Yes, when I was a younger man.
Sure. I love a turkey bowl, but we don't do those anymore.
A year or two after college, when someone ended up on the bottom of a pile and we had to dial 911.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that comes to an end. But usually it never got played on Thanksgiving. We always played it like on Friday, like at noon.
The last one I played in, somebody did an ACL, and that was it.
Yep. Better to cook the Thanksgiving meal or clean up after?
I think a traditional Thanksgiving meal is the hardest thing you can cook.
I'm happy to.
I've done it.
I'll be honest with you.
It's hard.
There have been times, and it is not true in my current situation, and I'm not even getting into a specific situation, but there are many times after a long day with family, I'm more than happy to be the dish guy, because then I can just get out of the room. I'm on my own and just do the dishes and remove myself from it. After 8 hours, like, I'm good.
I'm good, yeah. I also think if I've done a Thanksgiving meal once, I make Christmas meal every year. But one thing that I do in the process is I clean in the process. So, like,
you clean as you go.
I clean as I go.
Very
I don't leave things
play.
out. So, like, when it comes time to do the dishes at like Christmas dinner, for me, all that there would be is just the stuff that is on the table. That's it. So it's a pretty easy cleanup.
Real quick before we get to break, best Thanksgiving cocktail.
Whatever's in my glass, brother.
I do. I think the night is over, and I'm watching the late game.
The G-Man loved it.
G-Man, big fan.
Gabriel's a big fan of the Bananas Foster.
He loved it. I think at the end of the evening, when it's your home or it's you've done the festivities, I do think that a maple old fashioned hits nice as you're watching that.
Walk me through that again.
Just replace the simple syrup or sugar, the sweetener in the old fashioned, with maple syrup.
Is there sugar in maple syrup?
I know, but that's why you're swapping.
Yes. No, I'm kidding. That's
swapping them out.
The Elf when he wants to put maple syrup on his spaghetti.
You got it. You just saw it yesterday.
I just watched it last night. Yeah, she's like,
this.
"Do you like sugar?" He's like, "Is there sugar in maple syrup?" Then yes.
Yeah. That's a win. So just do that as that's my go-to at the end of the evening. Is one of those. Fill your game day cool with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea, keep it twisted. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. Kevin Stefanski's presser coming up next. The scores to follow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. Go to leaffilter.com/GoBrowns to schedule a free gutter inspection and to receive your exclusive promo offer. That is leaffilter.com/GoBrowns. Visit today. We head back to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience packages today for the ultimate game day. Here is Coach Stefanski's presser. Let's have a listen.
Okay, starting our
down 4.5.
Broncos game. This is a very, very good team. Very impressed with their tape. I think they're very talented, very well coached on all three sides of the ball. So we have to have a great week of preparation to go out there Monday night and play well. It's going to be a great environment, night game, but also just they do a great job with their crowd. So it's something that our offense in particular has to do a good job with. But great challenge for us, and we'll start our preparation this week. Any questions you got?
And how does we talked a little bit about Bo on Monday, but in Sean's offense specifically, how does that scheme fit what Bo does best?
I think they're playing very, very efficiently. He's making great decisions with the ball, not turning it over. He's taking shots to Courtland Sutton, which is a very difficult cover for anybody. They're running the ball. They have multiple guys that can get the ball to, and then he's a very good scrambler. He's outstanding off schedule. So just what they're doing is very efficient.
You say are like characteristics of a Sean Payton offense from time in New Orleans to the time here?
Multiple personnel groupings. That's one thing that coach does a great job of. And then they do a really nice job schematically, both in the run and the pass. There's reason behind everything what they're doing and trying to get a guy open in the pass game or scheme up a run in the run game.
Miles just won AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Can you just address how good that is for him?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we talk so much, Mary Kay, about individual accolades are tremendous. We want our guys to be recognized. The nice part is it also reflects well on your teammates. So happy for Miles and also recognize that it takes everybody to achieve those. But what Miles is doing, play in and play out, game in and game out, with the amount of attention that he gets play in and play out is pretty impressive.
We talked about Jerry, and you mentioned just the versatility, that he's able to take a short pass and deep ball. How important is that from your perspective, the ability to do all those different things?
Well, it makes it much harder on the defensive backs. You go into a matchup with a receiver as a DB, you're thinking about the routes that he can run, and if it's a limited route tree, it makes it easier to defend. When it's an expanded route tree like Jerry, it makes it more difficult because, I think his first catch of the night last week was on a slant route, and it went for, 20 yards, whatever it was, and then making plays down the field as well. I think that just makes life more difficult for the DBs because they have to cover the entire field.
You mentioned his ability in the scramble drill, too. He's been so good at that. And I know you guys work that, but how much of that is just instincts?
We do work it, Dan, but it is quite a bit of instincts. It becomes pickup basketball, becomes fast break basketball where there are rules, but you also play with a feel. And I think that's important for the quarterback, and it's also important for all the guys that are filling the wing looking for a layup to work with the quarterback.
Secondary in Denver is playing really well. They've got the whole Russian coverage thing working together. Can you just talk about that?
Really, really impressive defense. I think Vance Joseph's doing an outstanding job with them. You look over there, they've good players at every level. Obviously, Surtain's a very, very good corner. We played him last year, know how talented he is, but they have a bunch of guys in that back end that can produce, that can tackle, that can make plays on the ball. They're sound. They can pressure you. They can play coverage. I think they have 14 players with at least a half a sack. They're leading the league in sacks. So, like you mentioned, rush and coverage go together, and they're doing a very, very good job.
Their receiving core, what stands out, and also Mims, just the ability, it feels like they're using him in a bunch of different ways.
What stands out with their receivers is size. They have really big physical wide receivers. And then you mentioned Mims. They can use him in a variety of ways. He can be in the backfield. He can be out wide. He's an outstanding returner. Our guys are very well aware of his talent. And then on offense, they can utilize his speed in a bunch of different ways.
All right, there you go. Browns and Broncos on Monday Night Football. A full slate of scores coming your way next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake causes you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Scores. Gimme. Go.
We got 15 games.
You got to go.
We're got to do it 5 days essentially before we play the majority of them.
Crazy about that.
This is going to
Especially
test
coming off
your
of our
every
heater.
being, gentlemen.
Because right now
we're back, baby.
Well, last week 11-2 for me, 10-3 for you, putting us at a combined 34 games over 500, both at 17, which is incredible for us to be in the same spot in a very circuitous routes to such a spot.
We have rallied, brother.
We back. You're welcome. Thanksgiving free, perhaps
enjoy
Christmas,
that
Hanukkah
bird.
Free.
The holiday season on us.
On us. You're welcome.
Away we go. Week 13 of the National Football League starts with Thanksgiving Day and a triple header. Kicking things off live from Detroit City, the Leons and the number one team in the NFL, 10-1, hosting the reeling Chicago Bears, losers of 5 in a row. Nathan Zagura, kick us off.
The Lions are going to win this game. There's no doubt about it. They're going to win it, but this is a massive number on a short week where if they do get up, I don't think this is a pour it on game. This is all right, let's rest and get back to our families. Even if they're down 16 in the fourth, it's an easy. You got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and they're going to be slinging it. I think Detroit wins handily, but not by this much. I think ends up being something like 27-20 Lions.
I see Caleb Williams at the back door, too. As soon as I saw this one, it just feels like it. They've lost a bunch of games in a row, but they're playing better. They went right to the end with Minnesota last week, went to overtime in that game. I think that they found a little something offensively.
Yeah.
It's just too much. It's too much. Too much.
I am sick of 4 o'clock Thanksgiving garbage games, and here we go again.
Well, in the old days, this used to be
tradition.
the game. It was always leading into Dallas.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Well, how times have changed. The Dallas Cowboys 4-7, welcoming in the 2-9 DeVito-led New York Football Giants.
No, he's out.
I think it's going to be
bruised forearm. It's going to be Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
When did that change?
Today.
In the last hour and a half, I think 2 hours.
Well, I've been a little busy.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
You're
You're safe. You're not host. You're not the giant P of Cowboys Daily.
Yeah, you're running a show.
Don't worry about it. You're running shows. I still think that no matter who the quarterback is, the Giants have pushed all the way in on Tankapalooza. I think Jera still wants to be impressive at home, and I think they'll do enough. I like the Cowboys winning. I don't think it'll be by much more than this, but I get the Cowboys winning kind of a gross game, like 18-12.
Same. I also think that there is a movement there to get rid of Malik Neighbors' postgame was not pro Dable. I feel like he's lost the locker room, and what better way to get a coach that you're not interested in out than to turn in a real gross performance on national TV on Thanksgiving.
Yep, I agree.
Next, Thursday night football, and it's a good one to wrap up your Turkey Day. The Miami Dolphins 5-6, winners of 3 in a row, traveling to Lambeau Field. The 8-3 Packers await winners of 2 in a row. Nathan Zagura.
Yeah, I'm just real quick trying to look up here. So 32 and sunny. It will be cold, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very inclement weather. I like the way this Miami team's playing right now. The Packers are very good, and they find ways to win, but I like what Miami's doing. They're surging. I think Green Bay wins it.
Oh, baby.
But not by much. Packers 28. Fins 27.
Same but different. If this had a hook, because I think you're right. I think it'd be right there. And if it were 4, I would feel different because I do think it's a field goal or slightly better. I like the Packers winning this one, 31-27.
On to Black Friday. Little NFL action. 3 o'clock is your kick time from Kansas City, the number 1 team in the AFC, the Chiefs, welcoming in just an awful football team. Speaking of Tankapalooza, the 2-9 Las Vegas Raiders and Aiden O'Connell, Bo Bishop.
Do you know that the Raiders' 2 wins are against us and at Baltimore?
I know.
And they were down 2 scores. Weeks. No, in between. There's a game in between. They lost to the Panthers. Hammered them.
Oh, that's right.
in Vegas, they got hammered.
Andy Dalton's first
totally
game.
forgot about that.
Yeah, but they were down 10 to Baltimore in the 4th and 1, and then they beat us. They suck. They absolutely suck. And Kansas City doesn't cover against anybody. but they're going to cover this one 20-3.
Agreed. I don't know. This game's gross. Same.
Okay. To Sunday we go in Minnesota. 9-2 on the football season, trying to keep pace with the Lions. They welcome in, I don't know if they're gutless this week. I don't know if they have a heart. I don't know what's going on. The 6-5 Arizona Cardinals come to town, Nathan.
I like the Vikings. I think they're a complete team. Hawkinson is back and healthy. Addison's balling. Jefferson is great. Aaron Jones is running it well. They've got everything they need, and I think Arizona is it feels like they're just kind of petering out of steam here. Vikings 200, Arizona 3.
Did you watch any of those Vikings series?
Yeah, it was good.
There's one called Vikings, and there's Vikings Valhalla.
I didn't watch Valhalla.
They're all on Netflix.
I like Vikings.
I like that whole lore.
I like Viking culture.
Yeah, I'm for it. And I like the Vikings here as well. I got them. I'm kind of with you. I think there's some real red flags in Arizona right now. I like the Vikings comfortable.
Our next one on Sunday, it's a gross one. From the AFC South, the Houston Texans, 7-5. They have not looked good at all. The good news is they're traveling to Jacksonville, the armpit of America, at least one of the two, to battle the 2-9 Jacksonville Jaguars.
They have Ponte Vedra there.
Yeah, it's really not that
armpit
bad.
of America. There are. I could give you some that are worse.
Downtown Jacksonville.
Yes, agreed.
Is a candidate.
Yeah, the St. James
Where we
River
stayed was pretty nice.
Rolling through there. People vacation there. I think my hunch is Trevor Lawrence plays, and with Trevor Lawrence playing, Houston winning a close one. Although I could see Jacksonville winning, which that would do it too. I like Houston winning 13-12.
Same, but if it is not Trevor Lawrence, Houston.
Opposite. Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough. This is the inmate game of the week. The Indianapolis Colts are 5-7. The Yellowstones continuing to let us down week after week on the road in New England. I'm sure you'll stay. You get a good meal Saturday night in Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, yeah, nice meal.
Drive up Sunday
Italian.
morning to take
Enjoy
on
yourself.
the 3-9 Patriots, Nathan.
The Patriots are tough to read week to week, but this feels like a good week for them.
Agree.
I like them at home. Lively home dog. Richardson can't hit the broadside of a barn. Patriots 4, Colts 5.
Yeah, I think I got Pats winning it outright, so same. But different.
All right, little cross-conference action in the NFL on Sunday. It involves the Los Angeles Chargers off of that tough Monday night loss to the Baltimore Ravens, visiting the gutless 6-5 Atlanta Falcons. Gutless until they show me something otherwise, Bo Bishop.
Well, I think it's fair. Atlanta's a very difficult team to read. My advice, if you have soft earned that you like to have fun with, would be to stay away from them. I don't have a read on them whatsoever. The read I do have is that I think the Chargers are legitimately good, and I think they rebound flying across the country. I like the Chargers winning relatively comfortable, in fact. Let's go Chargers 27-21.
I don't do this often, but I feel like off the bye week, they know what's at stake. This is the biggest game, I think, left on their schedule, or I think it's the toughest game left on the schedule for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
2 weeks of prep for this, short week for the Chargers. They lose J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards is good, but he's not the home run threat that Dobbins is. I think the Falcons find a way to go ahead and go, caw, caw, and get the W outright here. It's going to be like when I was at Emory watching Jeff George sling the pill before June Jones banished him. Shame on you, June Jones. Falcons 36,
June Jones
Chargers 34 in a shootout.
Is that when your Jeff George love affair began, or did it begin previous?
It was while he was a Falcon, and then
when you were there.
No, previous to that. When the Niners in 94, the Niners got rid of, or whatever year the Niners got rid of Joe. I think it was 93, 92, 93.
2 or 3, somewhere in
there.
there.
Yeah, and I'm out. And
so that was it. Like you're like, I'm not a Niners fan.
I'm still a Niners fan, but I was
but at
pissed.
that time you weren't.
Yeah, and then I would go to the golf course to watch Jeff George and the Falcons play on.
And what was
Sunday
it?
Ticket.
What was it?
Just loved the way he slung the ball.
He
and they
slung
just,
it around,
threw it around the yard. Loved it.
So that was the time when you.
Yeah.
That's when it. So then it came full circle when you went to Emory, because then he
was then he was gone in like 3 games, and then he went to the Raiders and was actually really good for the Raiders for a year.
Yeah.
And then went to Minnesota, where he was great after Cunningham got hurt that year and played in the playoff. Had a big shootout with the greatest show on turf, where I think he threw for like 400 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Yep.
And Moss and Chris Carter loved him. So that was probably peak Jeff George as the run and shoot there with the Falcons, and then with the Vikes. Good times.
One of the only games really worth taking in and enjoying on Sunday, a nice little tilt in the AFC North. The Squealers have had 12 days off. They are on the road. They are in northern Kentucky to do battle with the Bengals. The Bengals 1-4 at home this year. The Squealers 4-2 away from Acrisure Stadium. Nathan.
This is a weird one to me because I certainly thought Pittsburgh was going to be favored in this game. They have not been impressive. They've only scored in 1 out of their last 8 quarters of football. Have they scored a touchdown? Who's not taking the Steelers with points? It says to me, Bengals upset Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. Let's go. Bengals 77, Steelers 1.
Same. And I think at some point the Bengals have to win one of these games. I just don't know, with all of that offensive talent, are they going to be done playing meaningful games the first weekend in December? Because if they lose this, they're cooked.
It's over.
So and that's might be done anyway.
Yep.
But they have to. And I think they will. I think they take care of business.
The Seattle Seahawks have a 2-game winning streak. They are the hottest team in the NFC West at 6-5. Coming across the country to do battle in New Jersey with the New York Football Jets, 3-8 on the season, Bo.
I just think that this is only this way because there is still the star power on New York and people aren't watching them play. I just don't think they're any good. And I think Seattle's all right. I think they're frisky. Geno goes across the country. They've unlocked Jackson Smith and Jigma. They got Kenneth Walker. They got some weapons. I like Seattle winning that one. The fact that it's only 2 is lovely. Give me Seattle by a touchdown on this one, 20-13.
Isn't this like a deep revenge game for Geno? Wasn't he
He was a Jet.
Jet? Is that who drafted him?
Drafted.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, you're right. Jet. Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is just the best receiver in the league right now. Saints by $1 billion.
The Tennessee
more productive than Garrett Wilson.
It's crazy. Yeah, how bad that situation is.
The Tennessee Titans, 3-8. Some might call them frisky. Others just call them bad. The Titans visiting the Commies and the Washington Commanders. They've lost 3 in a row. They're now 7-5. They are reeling a little bit, Nathan.
This is one that is just strange to me.
I agree.
Because why is it what it is?
It seems too big.
It seems way too big,
yes.
Which leads me to believe that maybe it's not too big, that they know something we don't know. And so I'm going to take the Commies by 10, 30-20.
Had to think about that.
By 10. Same. I for the same reason. I kind of feel the same way about it, that there must be something brewing there. So I like the Commies handling business in that one too.
Up next, 2 teams on life support. Winner, I think, still in it. Loser, boy, they have quite the uphill climb. Ramit on the road. The Saints have won 2 in a row. Their last one was over us. They had a bye week. They're coming off the bye. They're 4-7. All of a sudden, back in the NFC South because the teams in front of them can't take care of their business. Bo Bishop, Rams and Saints.
Tough read. Yeah. Very tough read for me on these 2 teams. The bye week, I think, helps the Saints. I'm just going to roll home dog. I'm going to go home dog on this one. I like the Saints winning it 21-20.
I like the way Stafford's throwing it. Nakua, Cup.
Yeah.
Rams, comfortable down in the bayou. 31-13.
Next.
Yeah, Saints.
If Tampa Bay is everything that they think they are, you got to handle your business. But it is a frisky trip for Tampa Bay into Carolina to do battle with the Panthers, Nathan.
Tampa Bay just absolutely annihilated the Giants. Bake's playing well. You wonder, though, if this lawsuit, which is very unfortunate, should not have to be dealing with that, if that weighs on him at all. And Carolina, I feel like, is a little bit frisky. This feels to me like it's ripe for the back door if need be. And maybe we're overestimating what we saw last week, but I like the way that they just played at home against Kansas City. I think they can do it again. I think Tampa wins it, and I think Tampa's probably up 10 with about 2 minutes to go, and then Bryce Young maybe to Leggett, maybe to Thielen, but they get the backdoor cover. So Bucks 24, Carolina 19.
Yeah, I see it the exact same way. I think Bryce has been playing well for about a month since he got back. I think comfortable cruising, and you get a little bit something later in the fourth quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina's there right at the end either. I wouldn't. I think they're playing some really good ball right now.
All right, this is a big one. America's game of the week.
It's a good one.
It's
great game.
It's Philly 9-2 on the season, winners of 7 in a row, traveling into Baltimore to battle the 8-4 Ravens. Ravens trying to keep pace, and they'll be watching that squealer Bengal game earlier in the day. Bo Bishop.
This feels like 41-38.
I would love that. That would be fun,
as
long as Philly wins it.
Yeah, it feels like 41-38, 41-37. I just think Ravens at home. I'm comfortable with the 3. So give me Ravens 41, Eagles 37.
I backed the Ravens on Monday night, but I'm not going to do it here. I think this Eagles team is playing tremendous football. I like their secondary, and I just think they have more weapons overall than the Ravens. The Ravens are dynamic, but I love the way the Eagles are playing. Devontae Smith should be back for this one, right? Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
As
Wednesday.
we sit here on a Wednesday.
I hope so. Eagles outright. The streak continues.
Oh, baby.
Sunday night foosball. This one bears watching, and we might need a score update.
Bills for now.
The weather forecast
Niners
is setting up for Buffalo to end up with 2 or 3 feet potentially of snow again. That could cause a delay. It could cause a postponement.
It's every year
All
for them.
options are on the table here. 49ers visiting Buffalo. This might help the 49ers.
Bills by $1 billion unless Purdy plays.
Yeah, samesies. And like the fact that they're spending however billion they are and they're not putting a roof on that thing.
Correct.
It's crazy.
This is every year now this is happening to them where they're losing games, and it's just nonsense. But yes, Bills by $1 billion unless Purdy, and we're too far out to have that sorted out. All right, we will get you your officially endorsed our gift to you coming up next. Just to Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland. Yeah, the future of recycling is here. Rumpke Waste Recycling leading the way. The $100 million recycling facility, North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center. It's one of a kind. It's built right here in Ohio. Learn more by visiting rumpke.com. All right, here you go. Get your pens out. Get yourself a bottle of Basil Hayden. Pour 3 fingers into a rocks glass. Set aside. Take a Granny Smith apple. Peel it. Core it. One chef's note on this. I like as much apple surface area as possible, so thinly slice them.
Yep. Well, that's the only way to really get it in there. Anyway.
Yeah, but like sometimes people like do try to chunk and get it in there, but
no.
really go as thin as possible so you have a ton of surface area with the Granny Smith apple. That'll bring out the tartness. Throw that sucker in there. After that, if you can find them, 2 Madagascar vanilla beans. Now, Costco had these throughout the fall. I don't know if they still have them or if you dare even go into a Costco today if you don't have them already. But 2 Madagascar vanilla beans into the Basil Hayden bottle. Throw that in there. I'm making an adjustment because my original recipe was 2 cinnamon sticks, and it was
too much.
I've done it a bunch of different ways, and last year I did 2, and I reminded myself it's too much. So I'm going down to a half cinnamon stick this year.
That was going to be what I was going to say. So that was early in the beginning of the show. I was going to say that was going to be my change.
I'm going to go down to a half.
I was contemplating even doing 1 as a tester.
Yeah.
Sans cinnamon stick.
Yeah, you could. I think what the cinnamon stick provides is the apple pie flavor. So I think you need a little, but I do think the ones, I don't know if it's just the ones I had or whatever, but last year
it was just a potent year.
It was really
mine
potent.
Was way
cinnamon,
too potent. It was,
and it was
too much.
So I'm going to go down to a half. You could try 1 cinnamon stick.
Apple. It buried the apple.
Yeah, and you can't do that. The apple has to be the star of the show along with the vanilla. And then you cap that sucker and you put it on a shelf. And you can do these are great as gifts. I know you've given them as gifts. I've done them as gifts as well. It's a great tradition. And then you can enjoy this the Christmas week, holiday week,
yep,
the Hanukkah week, whatever. All that time. It needs about 4 weeks of marination to be perfect. But you will enjoy it. It is your officially endorsed on the first Friday. We also endorse being smart tonight, kids. We know this is have a good time. It's never been easier to get a ride than it is now.
Let's go, baby. Yes, you're right. Be safe.
Be safe out there. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I know I can speak for you guys. We are very thankful of the audience and those of you who listen. We love you, and we're thankful of you. Have a great Thanksgiving. We are back on Monday for a preview of Monday Night Football, Browns at Broncos. You guys will be in the middle of your vacation. That'll be fun. Probably do some skiing in Aspen. You were on camera for that, Gibbe? The next level's coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily.